Have you given some thought to how to create change in your life? How to create a permanent transformation that really makes a difference in an area that you are struggling to get the results that you want around? If you're like most of the population, you've probably thought about this. Change is something that people are willing to pay a lot of money for when someone promises they can deliver the change they've been trying to achieve. You see, change isn't easy. It's a process. Sometimes we want quick fixes or for things to happen quickly, but that's not the way that change, intentional, deliberate change, works. Change can happen to us for a wide range of reasons. Sometimes it's forced on us by circumstances. Change can happen because of an external event way beyond your control. It can come about because of a health diagnosis or because of a really positive event, a huge job promotion that requires a move or more responsibility. It can be good or bad, but the type of change that most people think intentionally about is the kind of change that takes some deliberate action and intention on your part. Change applies at all different kinds of levels. Personally, people want to see changes in their own lives around something that feels stubborn. Maybe it's change around getting a better job, change around having better relationships, change around health. There's all kinds of changes that people want to see. And this is true at organizational levels as well. Sometimes organizational change can feel challenging because there are a lot of different people and situations and complicated relationships involved in that type of organizational change. But I want to leave you today with 3 levers to think about when creating change. And I'll apply these to both the personal and organizational level so you can think through them in both aspects. They all begin with the letter P to make it simple to remember. The first way to create change that you want to see is through profit. Essentially using money or resources to create the change that you want. And let's use personal examples around the idea of health because many people have goals around improving their health. It's something that many people can relate to. So let's say you want to create change around your health, the way that you would use profit, and maybe you do or don't feel personally like you have a lot of excess money, but the money that we have is directed towards generally the things that we value or the things that we want to achieve, our goals. The way we spend money is an expression of our values, both personally and professionally. So if you wanted to see some level of change around your health, things that you might do under the lever of profit could be things like changing the way you spend your money on food. Maybe it is swapping out more of the prepackaged meals or frozen meals with some more fresh fruits and vegetables. It could be that simple. It could be as complex as using money to hire a dietitian or a trainer to get some one-on-one help and accountability with the changes around health that you want to make. At an organizational level, organizations can use their profits to create the change that they want as well. This can involve things like creating a charitable program, which many organizations specifically do once they achieve any measure of scale and size. Or it could look like doing things like choosing not to maximize profit. Every organization to exist and to thrive needs to generate revenue. It needs to make some type of profit. Your income needs to exceed your expenses if you want to be around for the long run, but maybe it's reducing profit a little bit to make something more affordable to a certain group or population, or could be reinvesting profits back into something that will have an impact in people's lives. You can create change through profit, through simply using money to create change. The second way to create change is through purpose. And this is one where you often hear people talk about finding your why, finding your reason for doing something. Going back to the analogy of personal health and creating change in your individual life around health could be something like realizing that you want to be around and active and engage with your kids. And it's really more important for you to do so than to do something that's more enjoyable. You decide to dedicate some time to walking and moving so that you can improve your health because your kids and your relationships at home are what you value. Businesses and organizations can do the same thing. They can direct some of their time and intention towards purpose. And this is true regardless of the type of organization that you operate, regardless of your product or service. You are in business as an organization because people are finding value in what you're producing. You can use that product or service and make some changes to create a bigger impact with it. You can give back with some of your product or service. But another way to think about purpose through organizational level support is typically, at least in the United States, done through the idea of creating nonprofit organizations that exist specifically for purpose. Some businesses may actually choose to create a nonprofit organization to extend their reach or capacity or support an existing one, but creating change at an organizational level can come through being an organization that is specifically focused on a purpose. Having a clear vision and a clear mission that your organization rallies around will create change in the type of work that you're doing and in the type of environment that your employees are operating in. So that is purpose. And the third way to create change is through policy. Policy change is one way to create change in the environment or in yourself personally. At a personal level, I like to describe this as thinking about changing the rules or changing the way structures operate. It's why businesses and groups spend money to lobby the federal government. They're trying to create an operating environment that's more favorable for the goals that they want to achieve. On a personal level, you can create some rules and structures around the change that you want to have happen. I'll give you an example from my personal life. I have a rule in my household that we don't drink alcohol in the house. I might enjoy a glass of wine at a dinner with friends or at a networking event, but my husband and I choose not to enjoy alcohol within our home because we've noticed that it's something we can take overboard a little bit. So we've created a rule around that. We've created a policy essentially about how we're going to operate in our home. And this can happen on other levels. Some people who are trying to improve their health choose not to bring junk food into their house. That's a rule that they have to control the environment or create some structure around the change that they want to see. Organizations, as I mentioned, do this through lobbying, usually elected officials, either locally or federally, to create some type of change. Policy change can be one of the most impactful ways to create change because you're changing the system or environment in which you're having to operate or create the change in. It creates the circumstances to make the change easier, to make the environment more favorable for the type of change that you want to see. So if you're thinking about creating change in your life or in your organization, you want to drive something forward, think about the 3 levers and ask yourself today, which lever would be most effective for you to use to create the change. Now, keep in mind, all change does take time, and there's usually more than one lever or decision, one area that needs to be changed to really create lasting and permanent change. It's often multiple things used in combination, but think about them in the categories of profit, purpose, and policy, and choose your change through one of those areas. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Profound Hope Industries works with mission-based organizations to help them balance purpose and profit so that they can achieve growth and activate their stakeholders. If you'd like to connect with me, go to the link below in the description and let's talk.